Hello, Art 111 class. This is your syllabus, and I'm just going to take you through it the way that I would if you were in my in-person class and we were reading through the syllabus on the first day. You'll notice looking at this that the particular syllabus we're looking at is for my summer version of the class. If you're taking my fall or spring version, it's basically the same thing. So all this info will be the same. It's just a different pace. Summer is twice as fast. Okay, so looking at this front page, you can see my email address. I have that all over the online class. Definitely, it's important to email me if you ever have questions. We're not going to see each other in person during the class, so always email if you're unsure, if you want to check in about something. I'm never going to be concerned about you over emailing. So feel free to email if you want. I'll get back to you within about 24 hours usually. Here's the class description. You can read this over on your own, but the short version is that it's an introduction to Western art. Western means pretty much Europe and America. We'll have some other global examples here and there, but mostly the course is focused on Europe with a little bit of the United States at the end. It's going to be starting with the Renaissance period and then go all the way up through the early 20th century. And it's divided into themes: art and religion, art and social class, art for art's sake, and art, psychology, and emotion. It's all online, of course, because it's an online class. And you'll be doing reading, watching videos, taking quizzes, participating in discussions, uploading assignments, everything online. If you're in my summer version of the class, please keep in mind that it's really fast-paced. During the semester, you have one lesson per week, but in summer, in the summer semester, you have 2 lessons per week. So if you're a summer student, assume that you're going to be doing double the work of a normal semester. You should be probably logging in every day of the week if you're in a summer session of this class. Here's a list of the main things that I'm hoping you'll learn in this class. So if you complete this class successfully, this is what you should get out of it. First, you should be able to look at artworks in all different media and carefully describe and analyze their visual characteristics. That word media, that means like paint or clay or marble or architecture. It basically means like the type of art, what the artwork is made out of. So you should be able to look at all different types of artworks and analyze them with authority. Of course, that takes practice, but by the end of the class, you'll be good at it. Secondly, you'll learn how to connect up artworks to their broader contexts. What I mean by that is you'll see how an artwork relates to, for example, the economic situation of that period, or a war going on at that time, or even the popular culture at that time, the kind of movies people were watching. Basically, you'll see how artworks aren't just kind of existing by themselves in the world. They're connected to all sorts of different things. You'll also learn how to look at an artwork and recognize the style, time period, and artist it's associated with. So by the end of this class, you should be able to go to a museum and see an artwork from across the room and be able to tell basically what it is, what style it's from. You might be able to recognize the artist. And then also, since this class involves a lot of research and writing, something that you'll get by the end of the class is the ability to find and use reputable research sources in your writing about art and art history. That's a great skill because it'll help you in all of your classes that involve reading and writing and research, not just art classes. This next little section of the syllabus is basically how the art department at Mesa is saying what you're supposed to learn in this class. I'm required to put this on here. I feel that the language is a little bit difficult. Feel free to read it on your own, but it basically says the same thing I say up here in a more complicated way. This section is helpful. So this is about what you have to do every week. If you're in the summer version of this class, you'll log in 4 or 5 times a week and you'll have 2 lessons per week. If you're in the fall or spring version, you only have 1 lesson per week. Either way, each lesson has a list of required readings and videos that you take notes on. There's a study guide to help you know what to focus on. Then you'll take a quiz for that lesson. So basically you do a bunch of reading and videos, take notes on them, review a study guide, then take a quiz. You have 2 chances to take each quiz. So, if you miss something the first time, you can go back to your reading and try and figure it out. And then at the end of that lesson, in addition to the quiz, you'll also have an assignment. Sometimes the assignment is research, sometimes it's to make an artwork. There's all different types. As I just mentioned, your reading is all online. It's videos and articles or little sections of text that I wrote. You don't have to actually buy a book for this class since art history books are quite expensive. But if you do want to get an art history book, feel free. It'll cover most of the same things if you get one from the right period, and it definitely won't hurt. It'll help you with your research, but it's absolutely not required. I link to all the readings that you'll need for free within the online class. When it comes to late work, there's a lot of work in this class since you have an assignment and quiz every lesson. So I know that sometimes things come up and people end up missing something. As a rule, everything should be completed by the published due date, but I do give everyone 2 exceptions. So you have what I call 2 late passes for the whole semester. And so if something comes up, you have a personal emergency, something like that, you can turn in your late work late. Take as long as you need to turn it in, but you can only do that for 2 things through the whole semester. And after that, I won't keep taking things late. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions about it, of course, you can always email me. Oh, one other thing to say about late work, actually. So if you're having technical problems uploading something, like your file is too big and it was due at 11:59, but then it doesn't upload until 12:02, I'm not going to count that late. So don't worry about just 5-10 minutes late. I'm not going to count that as a late pass. A late pass is if you're actually turning it in the next day or something. It's not just a few minutes because of something wrong with your computer. Okay, the things you'll be graded on in the class, you've got online quizzes. In the summer version, you're going to have 2 of those per week. You'll have assignments, again, usually 2 per week for the summer version. And then there's one kind of final paper, which is an art museum essay. That's worth more points than the other assignments because it's longer, and it requires that you actually go visit an art museum and write about it. That'll be due at the end of the semester. So you've got quizzes, assignments every week, 2 per week if you were in the summer class, and then at the end you've got this art museum visit essay. There's instructions for all of this online. So you don't need to remember it all now. This is just so you kind of know what it is, and then everything's available for you online with detailed written instructions or instruction videos sometimes. Here's how the points work. So you've got quizzes, as I mentioned, for each lesson. They're 300 points, so that's 30% of your grade. You've got those assignments each week. Those are 55% of your grade. Then you've got that museum research paper at the end, that's 15%, and it all adds up to 1,000. So if you go in the gradebook in Canvas, you can see how many points you've got so far. You can see what the points are for each assignment, but always be dividing it out of 1,000. So it might show you that there's only 400 possible points in Canvas, but that's just because that's all you've turned in so far. Make sure you keep in your head that 1,000 is the number you need if you were going to try and get a perfect score. So let's say you have 900 points total. 900 out of 1,000 would be 90% in the class, which is an A. It's pretty easy math. Feel free to always check in with me if you're not sure about that. If you have a disability and you need accommodations, make sure to contact the DSPS office and they can help you. If there's something specific in the class that you need immediate help with because of a disability, for example, a video that doesn't have captioning, I think they all do, but if you find one that doesn't, or if there's something that just you need immediate help with, just email me. But to get the formal permissions for whatever accommodations you need, contact DSPS. I have a few little warnings here. One is about the controversial nature of art. It's not anything too terribly controversial in this class, but there are some things that definitely show nudity. There's some things with sexual themes. There's some things that might be political. I don't shy away from any of that in the lessons that you have. So just keep it in mind if there's some particular sensitivity that you have that you know you don't want to see a certain kind of image or it's going to bother you. Maybe reach out to me early on in the semester and we can see, I can let you know how much of that there's going to be. Another little warning, I'm strict about reputable research sources and citing them correctly. I mention this because in online classes, many students are used to just Googling things and using information from Wikipedia for other kinds of sources that come up first in Google. I have specific guidelines for research in this class. They're available within the online course. They're pretty much the same as you get in any college course, but keep in mind that is something that I'm strict about, particularly in online classes. And of course, don't cheat or plagiarize. That I think is obvious, but I do have a plagiarism checker in the online class that's going to automatically scan your papers, and I'll of course check them by hand as well. This is your table with all of your due dates. I've got this in a separate page online for you that you can print out. And it shows when everything's due for the whole semester. So it's really easy to plan ahead. I've also got a schedule of topics here. Most students don't really care about this, but if you wanted it, you can always go here to just see what's going to be covered which week. You can also look in the online class for that and just click ahead to see. So that's the syllabus. Don't go away yet, though. I want to show you one more thing. I'm going to pop back into the Canvas class now. So this is basically what your Canvas class is going to look like. Obviously, you already found it since you found this video, but I just wanted to show you one thing about it. So you know when you're in Canvas, there's a lot of links to follow. So for example, I'm going to click a link here, and then it takes me to this page, and then I can hit next, and it takes me to the next page. That's a great thing about Canvas, but sometimes I found when I'm using it, I get confused where I hit next a few times and then I'm like, wait, how do I get back to where I was trying to, start my assignment? So one tip, if you're ever like trying to figure out where you're supposed to be in the class, just go to where it says modules, click modules, and then you'll see I've got everything here. So I'm scrolling up and down here so you can see this is the entire semester laid out. So if you're like, okay, I don't know what the heck page I'm on, just go back to modules, be like, all right, I know we're in week 4. Go to week 4, click on it, and then here's all your week 4 info. I also do have everything available from the very beginning of the semester. I don't recommend trying to work too far ahead because it can get confusing. But if you want to work a little bit ahead, like you're going to be out of town during week 4, so maybe during week 3, you also do week 4. So that you can make sure you don't have to worry too much about doing work when you're out of town, feel free to do that. That's why I have it all here for you. So everything is here in advance. I wouldn't recommend, as I said, working too far in advance, but it's up to you if you'd like to. Okay, so that's it. See you in class.